Shaitani Rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with a noble and universal greeting of peace, the greeting that has been used by the prophets and messengers of our universal Creator, Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's indeed a privilege and pleasure to be alive, to be healthy, to be fit, to be strong, and to be focused on our priority in life. If you are like me, the priority is to bring to Allah a purified heart. Neither will our children nor our wealth avail us. Only those who bring to Allah a purified heart, that's going to benefit them. The Quran says that those who benefit their own souls, like being grateful, is a benefit to your own soul. There are people who wrong their souls, and so I don't want to continue to wrong my soul, and I don't want to have a heart that is impure. I want to bring to God a purified heart. I want to play a beneficial role with regard to my soul. And so this is the path. And so the Quran has guided us. It's guided us that Satan is an enemy, avowed, that Satan has misled Adam and Eve, our foreparents, the first human beings, and that we human beings are still under the influence of that fallen state that we have forgotten. Adam and Eve, after eating of the tree, forgot. They went into a state of insecurity. They forgot about our Creator and they forgot about the assurance, the reassurance and insurance they once felt. And they felt threatened and vulnerable. And guidance is the solution to this state. The Quran tells us that guidance will come to the people, and those who receive the guidance, they will no longer be insecure. They will no longer remain unaware of the Creator. They will no longer be in a forgotten of God, forgetful state. They will remember. If you fail to remember, yours will be a depressed life, the Quran says. Those of us who remember, we are here on the planet in a forgotten state, in a fallen state, in a state of sleep. Asleep, we are here to awaken. We are here to go beyond unconsciousness and beyond living subconsciously. We are to go beyond being unaware of truth, living superstitiously, ignorant and arrogantly, to become aware of truth. Truth liberates us. The Quran is a book of truth. All the prophets brought revelations of truth. One universal truth of God, that only God, our universal Creator, who we call Almighty Allah, actually is. And that we are to remember Allah. That those who remember Allah, Allah remembers them. Those who forget Allah, theirs will be a depressed life. That we are here to remember. And as we remember, we will no longer live a depressed life. As we remember, Allah will remember us. As we remember and remember abundantly, we will progress. We will prosper. As we remember Allah, the heart experiences tranquility. As we remember Allah, the heart experiences assurance. When we don't remember Allah, we are threatened, vulnerable, fearful, anxious. We experience existential abandonment. When we are living in the state of forgetfulness, still worshipping Satan and not worshipping Allah, we are not in a state of peace, actual peace, salam. Get what I mean? We're not in a space of salam. We don't know what actual peace is. A lot of people think that peace is when there's no fighting. If there's no fighting, then there's peace. Or if there's no problems, then there is peace. People think if they fight for peace, they're fighting for the problems to stop, or they're fighting for the violence to stop. But stopping the violence, stopping the problems, is not peace. Peace in itself is a thing, is a phenomenon, it's an experience. And so when we remember Allah, we become aware, we become Allah aware. When we become Allah aware, we go beyond unawareness into awareness. We go beyond non-experiencing to experiencing. When we become aware of Allah, actually aware of Allah, we experience Allah consciousness. We express as believers. The believers are those who are secure. Mu'min comes from the name of Allah. Al-Mu'min is the secure. Mu'min doesn't really mean believer, but somebody who is aware and actually believes, experiences being secure. They express in the world as believers. This is why the Quran tells us that when we change what is in our hearts, Allah changes our conditions. You get what I mean? So when our hearts are diseased, when we are unaware, when we're not experiencing, when we're not being believers, the Quran says, don't say you're a believer if faith has not entered into your heart. Rather say that you are a person who's submissive in religion. But don't say you're a believer. Because there are people saying, hey, we said La ilaha illallah, we said the kalima, so we are believers now. The Bedouin Arabs came to the Prophet saying to them, we are believers. And he said, the Quran revelation came, don't say you're a believer. Faith has not entered into your heart. Your heart is still faithless. There's no iman in your heart. You might be practicing religion, or you might be saying that you follow religion, but there's no faith in you. So this teaching, what I'm sharing with us here, is about the remembrance, the actual remembrance. Stop worshipping Satan, worshipping Allah. Go beyond the fallen state and ascend, to wake up beyond the sleep, to live aware beyond unawareness, to live experiencing beyond non-experiencing, to live expressing as ability, to feel secure, to experience being secure. When you're on the planet, when you're living here, we're all insecure until we receive guidance. And when the guidance comes to us and we receive the guidance, then we release the superstition, the ignorance, the arrogance. We release satanic promptings and whisperings. I remind you that the Quran begins with A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I remind you the Quran ends with the last 2 chapters of claiming refuge with Allah. The second to last chapter says, we claim refuge with the Lord of the daybreak from the darkness in the creation. People whose hearts are diseased. There's darkness. There's ill. Claim protection from the darkness, from that, sickness in the hearts of human beings. Because people who are sick in their hearts, their minds are not right. If you're sick in the heart, your behaviors are not right. They're perverted. They'll steal, they'll rob, they'll cheat, they'll use you, abuse you. So Allah is saying to us, claim refuge with Allah from the darkness in the hearts of the people. And the darkness as it spreads over the land. Because this one person, another person, more and more people going into darkness, there's a darkness, there's a, feeling of darkness in the land. You go to certain places, you experience very dark in terms of the people, in terms of how they are, in terms of how they live. You can see the environment and so on and so forth, certain areas, dangerous areas. You go into some areas, very dangerous. You can see there's darkness there in the schools. The children are getting raped by teachers, by fellow students. Drugs are being sold. Darkness in the land. You get what I mean? And from the people who practice the dark arts, those that are interested in control and manipulation, and using dark arts. And then there are those who are jealous. Second last chapter of the Quran is protection from this. And then the last chapter is claiming refuge with Allah, the source, sustainer, supporter and satisfier, the Rabb of humanity, the governing power, the ruler of humanity, the ruler over humanity, and the God of humanity, from the one who whispers, who whispers and withdraws, Satan. So all human beings, whether you're aware of it or not, are worshipping Satan until guidance comes to you and until you submit. See? If you submitted, you'll know you submit. You'll have iman in your heart. If you're not sure whether you submitted or not, it means you haven't submitted. It means you're not living securely. Get what I mean? You're not living as a true believer. You don't know your true identity. You're still lost. Get what I mean? And so I was explaining over the past many weeks and months that we all start off with either being a kuffar which denies and conceals the truth of Allah, or we are an associator and we attribute significance or partners with Allah. We think that something is a God other than Allah. We have ideas about God that is not really God. You get what I mean? People believe that a man is God, a woman is God, a thing is God, something in their mind is God, they fashion with their minds or their hands, something in the world. God has a form, in this world. God is somewhere located in time and space. Something with dimensions is God. God is the creator of all forms. God is the creator of the world where there's dimensions. God is beyond form and dimensions. The Quran says, vision cannot grasp God, but God has a grasp over all human beings. You know what I mean? So, eyes can't see God, but God can see us all. You know what I mean? So, people might believe there's no God and are atheistic, They say, well, if you can't see it, can't perceive it, there's no God, we don't believe in it, And then you get these people have ideas about God, but just ideas. They're not the truth about our universal creator. They think they're worshipping, they think they're following spiritual practice, but they're not experiencing the remembrance of God. They're not experiencing the connection with God. They're not experiencing the security. And then you get the hypocrites who use the right words. They'll use words like Allah, they'll use words like Akhirah, but the Quran says they do not believe in Allah, nor do they believe in the hereafter. They don't stand to account. They lie to themselves, thinking they lie to God, but they only lie to themselves. So you get people who use the right words, Allah, Islam, the Quran, Salah, and they do all these kind of things that are religious. I call them Islamism. But there's no actual awareness of Allah. There's no, when you remember Allah, the security in your heart. These people, they project power onto God instead of recognizing the power of God. So in that sense, you can use the word Allah, but you're not aware of Allah, and you're not experiencing that assurance with Allah. And you can read the Quran, but you don't know its message, and you're not benefiting from its message. It says this is a book that has come to cleanse the diseases in the hearts of humanity. You get what I mean? People are reading the Quran, but not cleansing their hearts with it. They're not aware of what they're reading in the guidance. People will talk about the Prophet, you know what I mean? I've seen people, and I've met a guy recently, I had the opportunity of spending some time with them, a big beard, but screaming and shouting at everybody. I mean, I'm like, what? That's not being like the Prophet. You know what I mean? But no, I'll keep my beard. So I even joked with him. I said to him, why don't you shave your beard? You'll look younger. Like, what? It's a sunnat. You know what I mean? But I was joking with him, right? I'm not suggesting people do this. But the thing is, the behavior that I witnessed, screaming, shouting, vulgarity, not at me, but with others around them, lack of compassion, where's the behavior of the Prophet? So it's easier for people just to have a beard and say, I'm following the Sunnah, rather than actually following the Sunnah. So what I'm saying is people, the hypocrites, they say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they don't. They don't have any kind of accountability. They say they, for the Quran, but they might even memorize it. They don't understand its message and its teaching. They say they're for the Prophet, but they don't understand the Prophet's conduct and mannerisms and what his inspiration has been. They might talk about Islam, and similarly I'm moving with the people. And, wherever we're going out to eat, I'm taking the grilled options. They're like going for fried, let's have fried. I'm saying this is not tayyib. But like he wants to know if the store is Muslim owned, like the fish shop is Muslim owned. And I'm like, yeah, it's Muslim owned. They don't have anything else, that it's only fish. And also, but why are you interested if it's Muslim owned, but you're not interested if it's tayyib in preparation? You know what I mean? So you can see at every step, if you move with somebody like that, you can see the eating habits are not tayyib at all, making themselves sick, and then after that taking tablets and all that sort of thing. It's not sensible. It's not sensible, but people are living like that, and it's got nothing to do with me, because I'm not supposed to bring his heart to God pure. He's supposed to bring his heart. He's supposed to be reading the Quran with understanding and following the Prophet actually, and having a relationship with Allah, humility before Allah and that sort of thing. So what I'm saying is, you might know people like this. Hypocrites. I'm not saying that as judgmental, and I'm not saying that to run them down. I'm using it as a descriptive term. They say they believe, but they don't believe. In their hearts is a disease, and that disease is expanded, the Quran says. They're astray, and they're left to stray. Nothing I can tell them will actually benefit them, because Allah does not guide a people who are astray and want to remain astray. So no matter what I'll say, It's like nothing. It's nothing. I eventually stopped talking about it, right? I let it go. So my point is that Allah does not guide those who are astray. So there are people who are hypocrites. So there are people who are kuffar, that they are deniers and concealers of truth, of Allah. There are people who are associators. They believe that things are God, people are God. They believe in a God, but not the universal creator. They don't have an awareness of God. They don't have an actual relationship with God. They haven't submitted to God actually. And then you get people who say they are Muslims. They say they're believers, but they're not. In their hearts of the disease. They're actually self-deceivers. They're not living anything like a real Muslim, a real believer would. There's no faith in their hearts. All sorts of things. So you can live like that. I was all three, by the way, at different times, but guidance came to me, and I submitted. And today I'm more secure than I've ever been. I'm more secure than I've ever been. So the universal teachings of all prophets and messengers and all revelations, the revelation given to Daud alayhi salam, the revelation given to Moses, Musa alayhi salam, the revelation given to Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, the revelation given to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Quran, is guiding humanity to a single truth of Tawheed, the oneness of God, the onlyness of God. That there is actually only God, that we are created beings and only God is real and actual. We are apparent. We live in a world created by God. We are created. We have no authority. No human being has authority. Anything created by God has no authority. Only God is the one with a capital A. God alone has power. That we are encouraged to actually become aware of God and humble ourselves before God and actually recognize the power of God. Actually recognize the power of God. The Quran says the heavens and the earth were created that we may recognize the power of God, the power of God. You know what I mean? And it says that we were given gifts and favors that we may recognize the gracious nature and the gifting nature, the giving, generous gifting, and the gifts of God. The Quran says if you try to count the gifts of God, they're innumerable. You can't count them. Which of the favors of your Lord do you deny? It asks 31 times in Surah Ar-Rahman. It says that your Lord is favoring of you. You know what I mean? So the Quran says we are created, that we were given, freely given. We didn't have to earn our existence and earn our continued existence in this world. And we don't have to pay for the earth to spin every day so that life on earth will continue, for the sun to rise. We don't have to pay. It's done free. We are created to live. We are supported in life on earth. And even after we transition and pass on, we'll live beyond our death. We're supported in life after death. That's a given. And that we are given humanity, that we as human beings are not created as animals or insects. We're created as the most favored creation of God on earth that we are aware of. You know what I mean? We are created as the most favored creation of God with the marked favoring given to us. Our bodies are created, the Quran says, in the best of molds, the best of forms. You know what I mean? So, this is the thing. This is the thing, that people are unaware of the power of God, that it's operating and it's sufficient. They're not aware of the privileging nature of God. That our Creator, universal Creator One, has created us all one humanity. We are all one human being. We're all one humanity. And we are created amazing human beings. Favored creation with reason and capability and capacity. You understand? So when I'm having a discussion with some people that I'm mentioning about, I said, the Quran has created us and, it's for people who reason. So I was asked, can people reason? I said, God created us with the ability to reason, that we are not guided to reason, or people are following blindly and made to be silly and stupid, to say, you all don't know, follow the guru, follow the pandit, don't use your reason. The Quran says the lowliest of creation are those who actually do not reason. We're created to reason. You get what I mean? So people are unaware of the greatness of God. They're not revering the greatness of God. They're unaware of the gracious nature of God. They're not rejoicing the gracious nature of God. They're not rejoicing that we are created and what we have, faculty of reason. They can't see our bodies, our minds as human beings, that we are favored on earth, that we can experience joy and peace and love, and we can care for each other and attend to each other in a way that no other human beings no other creation apart from human beings can. They can't see, they're unaware. So they're not really aware of the greatness, and they're not in awe of the greatness. They're not aware of the graciousness. They're not adoring the gracious nature of God. They're not appreciating the gifting nature of God, the generous nature of God, the giving nature of God. They're not accepting the gifts of our Creator. You see? So this is how you know when people are insecure. They're unaware and they're non-experiencing, they're non-expressing. They're not aware that they are created beings, that God alone is the unique, supreme, having power, the privileging, who has provided for us and provisioned for us in this world and the world beyond, that God is the freely loving of us. We don't have to get God to love us. God is the freely loving of us. He freely gave humanity and blessed humanity. We're the favored creation. You get what I mean? So when people are in the fallen, they're not remembering. This is what happens. They live arrogantly, superstitiously, ignorantly. They take partners. When you're not aware of the power of God, let me tell you what happens. You start projecting power onto people, things, and experiences. When you're not aware of the power of God, our universal creator, who Muslims call Almighty Allah, then something and somebody seems to have power. People start attaching to money, which is a form of shirk. Or people start attaching to people, which is a form of shirk. Because the Quran tells us, first chapter, the Quran, the opening, it says, Thee alone do we worship, Thee alone do we turn to. You get what I mean? That Allah, you alone are the real. Before us, beyond us, before the creation, beyond the creation, because of whom the creation is and continues to be, because of whom we are and we continue to be. Our first relationship is with you, Allah. And we become aware of your power. And aware of your power, we experience security with you. You get what I mean? If you're worshipping Satan, you'll still be in a trance. You won't be aware of your Creator, His power, His privileging, His greatness, His graciousness, His gifts, His gifting. You won't be aware of anything. You'll be in a trance. You'll be focused in this world like it always was, like you have always been, like you'll always be, like this world will always be. You won't realize this world came into existence by the will of our Creator. That we have come into existence by the will of our Creator. That our Creator is always there, closer to us in our own jugular veins. You know what I mean? That our Creator alone is the real, the actual, the never born, the never dying, the never aging, the never tiring, the never hungering, the never slumbering. The dynamic. You would never, if you're not aware of your Creator, until you humble yourself, you will never know God. You get what I mean? It's to worship your Creator is to humble yourself. So the hypocrites have ideas about God, and they are no different from the mushrik, which is what the Quran says, that the hypocrites and the mushriks will be in this world through their death and beyond, because they're not really aware of our Creator, and they're not responding to the Creator. The Quran says, respond. Respond to Allah. How can you respond to one that you're not aware of? You get what I mean? So you get a whole lot of people who call themselves Muslims, but they have no awareness of our universal Creator, and when they don't remember God because they're not feeling this assurance and reassurance with their Creator. They're feeling threatened and vulnerable. They're being needy on God. We have God, the absolutely valuable. You don't need more than God. But they can't recognize the power, the privileging, the provisioning, the providing, God who privileged us and promoted us in status and standing. God who gave us a world that you plant one seed, you get a tree with hundreds of fruit. You put two chicken together, a rooster and a chicken together, you get eggs. As long as this chicken live. You know what I mean? So people are unaware. Satan threatens them with insecurity and causes them to behave in ways unseemly. That's what the Quran says. But yet Allah extends His mercy. And Allah extends His compassion. and offers you of His bounty. You see, Allah already knows that people are lost. Don't think He doesn't know that you are lost. He already knows you are lost. He already knows you are kuffar. He already knows you are mushrik. He already knows you are a munafiq. He already knows that you are unaware of Him. And He already knows that, if you continue in that way, He knows that you'll be threatened by insecurity, you'll feel vulnerable, you will feel alone, you'll feel stressed and distressed, you'll feel worried. The friends of Allah, they never grieve and they never fear. The Quran tells us. Those who are friends, meaning close to Allah. Remember, if you take one step towards Allah, Allah takes 10. Hadith Qudsi says. That means if you walk towards Allah, He comes running towards you. This is what I feel every day. Every day as I step closer and closer to Allah, I experience Allah running towards me. I feel my heart being healed. I feel more secure. I feel freed from the bondage of Satan worship. I'm freed through Allah. I'm not superstitious anymore, ignorant and arrogant. I'm aware of Allah. I'm experiencing the power and the privileging of Allah. I'm in awe of Allah. I'm adoring Allah. I'm appreciating the gifts, and receiving them, accepting them, the gifting nature of Allah and His gifts. I'm feeling good. Woohoo! I wasn't, like this always. But my heart is cleansed. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to harm anybody. There's no perversion. I'm not hurting me, my body, and my life. You see, when you're on this path, it's a path of iman in your heart, amal in your conduct, and a life tayyibun, a natural satisfied life. When you're on the path of claiming the believer's refuge, that guidance has come to me, I am astray, and I don't want to remain astray. Satan is an enemy avowed, and he's the one rendering me ungrateful, and I don't want to be with him anymore. I claim the refuge with Allah. I claim the refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. There is a refuge for me to claim, and I'm so happy about it. So my point is, until people realize I'm still worshipping Satan after Adam and Eve, my heart is still diseased, I'm not actually doing anything about it. I am still remaining unaware of my Creator. I'm not stepping towards Him every day. I'm not drawing close. My heart is diseased. It's remaining diseased. And then you'll know that you project power onto people and things. You'll be needy and dependent on your idols. You'll be needy on a man, feeling scared and afraid, or on a woman, feeling scared or afraid, feeling disappointed and frustrated. You'll be needy on a boss or a job. You'll do things for money you don't want to do. You'll do things for somebody to take care of you that you don't want to do. You'll be like a slave to your idols. I know I was. No more. Because I no longer recognize anybody or anything in the created world as an authority except Allah, the creator of this world, who is not in this world, who created this world. The creator is not in the creation. The creator is. The creation came into existence. The creation is temporary. Allah always was. The permanent cannot be in the temporary. Do you understand? I don't think a lot of people hearing this will understand, because they're not really aware of Allah. They have ideas. People have told them ideas. They fill their minds with ideas, but those hearts are really diseased. So how do you know you have a diseased heart? Well, it's quite evident if you are controlled by people, things, and experiences. If you're controlled by things, if something in the world controls you, if you feel controlled by somebody or something, you feel like you can't do what you want to do, you feel like you got no peace, you need something, you're looking for relief, safety, and excitement, you get worried, you get scared, you do things you don't want to do, things that you have to do, you live like a slave and a beggar. You're not a believer. You get what I mean? Allah created us to not depend on anybody or anything created. Allah created us to depend on Him, the uncreated. Sufficient is Allah for me to depend on. I put my trust in Allah. You get what I mean? So people are not trusting in Allah. They don't realize, they are not really aware of the power and sufficiency of Allah, the privileging and adequacy of Allah, the gifting and the enoughness of Allah. That we don't need anybody or anything. We don't need anybody or anything to change. Our security, our good feeling in us has got nothing to do with anybody or any situation or any circumstance or anything going on, stopping it, starting it. Our security has got to do with us becoming aware of Allah, the creator of all creation. Our security is recognizing the primary vulnerability. Allah gave us life. He's taking care of us, taking care of things for us. He's handling things for us. The most important things is not what people can do for us and what's in the world. Who gave us life? Who gave us humanity? Who gave us reason? Who gave us guidance even though we were astray? Who gave us the prophets and the messengers? Who? Who gives us? Who encourages us? Who champions us? Who believes in us? Who tells us that Satan is an enemy? The one who loves us and the one who wants best for us. Nobody can love me the way my Creator loves me. It's an error for me to turn to anybody, to anything created. It's an error. It's shirk. I turn only to Allah and the guidance of the Prophet. Iman in Mahat Amal, follow the Prophet in conduct. And a life tayyibun, championing natural living rather than perversion. Listen to what's going on in that community. I heard a little bit this week that went by. It was, I don't know, scary. But I was just grateful. I just felt peace in my heart. The guidance came to me and I have received it. I am a winner. I am bringing to Allah a purified heart. My heart is not diseased anymore. My heart is cleansed. I have peace within my being that comes from my Creator, from my connection with my Creator. There's peace within. Even if there's no peace in the world, there's peace in my heart. There's patience in my heart. They say Allah is with those who are patient. I'm patient. Even if there's no peace in the world, I'm peaceful. Even if there's no peace in my world or the world, I'm peaceful. With Allah. Verily in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. The Quran tells us Allah puts tranquility into the hearts of the believers as He expands them degree by degree in faith. I can tell you that's true. You know why? Because I'm a believer. I have submitted. Nobody and nothing do I turn to. I no longer worship Satan. I'm aware of Satan's nonsense. I have claimed refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. I recognize He has given me guidance to go beyond the darkness. And I choose the light. I've chosen Tawheed. I've chosen the oneness. I've chosen to know my true nature, what I am. If I asked you what you are, who you are, can you answer? I can answer. I am aware. I am a creation of Allah. I'm a creation of Allah. I am the one who is cared for and considered, championed and cherished. I am the one who is given, forgiven and favored. I am the one who is encouraged by Allah. I am the one who has the Quran, who has the Prophet, who has Islam. I am the one who uses reason to receive it. I am the one who is benefiting from guidance. My life reflects it. Who was I before? I was controlled by the world. Needy, desperate, fearful. In my heart was a disease. If you're worried, if you're afraid, if you're angry, if you're lusting, if you are impatient, if you get angry, then you are not submitted. You know what I mean? So the most important thing at the outset is to recognize, hey, look at me and how I have a relationship with my Creator where I relate to my Creator knowing that He created me, I'm in His care, He has considered me, He continues me. What He has done for me, nobody can do for me. I can't even do for me. I focus on my Creator before I focus on me, before I focus on my parents, before I focus on my children, before I focus on anybody and everybody in the world. I take my attention off what's happening in this world and I focus on Allah. There are people who can't take their attention off what's happening in this world. They can't. They're in a trance. I was like that, but no longer. For a while I haven't been like that. I'm very grateful. Shukr to Allah has guided me. If you believe in Allah, He'll guide your heart. Comes back to the heart. You see, people are not wanting to speak the truth about where they are. You got to speak the truth. Am I a denier of God? Do I want to see the error in that? Am I an associating partners with God? Taking powers other than God, thinking that something other than God has power, looking to somebody or something other than God, rather than knowing that God is enough for me and relating to my Creator? Am I one who says that I'm a believer but I'm not aware of my Creator. I'm not taking steps every day. There's no peace in my heart. There's no connection. I'm not cleansing my heart. I'm not reading the Quran for guidance. I'm not becoming aware of the Prophet and what's his behavior and mannerisms. I'm not really following Iman, Amal, Life Tayyibun. I'm thinking I'm all about the halal, but I'm not taking the tayyib options. I'm going for all the unhealthy options. I'm getting sick. I'm taking medication. You have to speak the truth. Look and see if you feel cared for and considered by your Creator. If you do, then you are aware of your Creator. If you don't feel cared for and considered by your Creator, if your Creator's caring and consideration and championing and encouragement is not enough for you, that means you're not aware of your Creator. Get what I mean? If you're not aware of your Creator, you're not aware of His power. You don't feel relaxed that I have God. He has power over all things. I don't have to make Him have power. I don't have to act like I have to get Him to be powerful. He is already powerful. To let go of ideas of God and be aware of God. This is the thing. You must say, I want to get onto the path of A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitan. I want to claim that I'm so grateful that there is a refuge while I'm alive. That Allah is my refuge and Allah is sufficient as a refuge. I have Allah as a refuge. I am among those who are choosing to repent. I'm choosing to go beyond kuffar, a denier of God and truth, associated the mushrik, and a hypocrite who says they believe but doesn't believe. I'm willing to see that's where I am now, but that's not where I want to stay. There is beyond who I've been, how I've lived, what I've experienced. There is a potential for me to live as a believer and die as a believer and be raised up as a believer. There's a potential for me to live actually aware and experiencing security with my Creator in support of my healthy satisfaction with Him. I choose to learn, I choose to grow, I choose to receive guidance, I choose to become that butterfly. From this caterpillar, instead of staying here, caterpillars are not created to stay as caterpillars, they are meant to go through a spiritual development process. We human beings are here to go through a spiritual development process. The caterpillar enters into the cocoon through a chrysalis where it goes through learning, it sees its errors, it corrects, it admits its error. We can admit our error and we can correct. We can see what are the errors, what are the sins. And we can be guided to truth beyond superstition, ignorance and arrogance. What's keeping us from security? What's keeping us from drawing closer to our Creator? We can see these barriers, admit these barriers and release these barriers. Allah guides us to see the error of our ways and to correct. We are to correct. We are to see the error. This is an error. This is an error. This is the correction. That's what happened with me. I saw the error, I corrected, and this happened when I was teaching people in the mosque. We did our seminars every month for 36 months. Over. I was learning and guiding. And anyway, that you can become the butterfly. You must know that there is beyond this version of you. How you've been living, what you've been experiencing, there is beyond this version of you. You must know that there's a version of you that's not with a diseased heart. There's a version of you with a purified heart, a cleansed heart, a version of you with Iman in your heart, a version of a future self with Iman in your heart, a future life where you're living a life that is with Amal and a life tayyibun, that you have a connection with your Creator. Currently, you may not have a connection with your Creator, and there's actually a future where you have a connection with your Creator, and currently you might not have a heart secure, but there is an opportunity for you to live with a heart secure. And you might not be operating like the Prophet. You may have mistaken ideas, that you can learn where you are in error and correct. And you can actually be like the Prophet, really be honorable human being, respectful human being, honest human being, trustworthy human being, and that you can live naturally a life tayyibun. You want to see, what do you have a relationship more with than your Creator? What do you turn to other than God? To feel peace? What do you turn to feel peace? Or to feel okay? What do you turn to? So some people who are not connected with the Creator, like how I wasn't connected, I wasn't experiencing, we're all connected, because Allah is closer to us than our jugular veins, but not all of us are experiencing that connection. And I used to use substances, including nicotine and all that sort of thing. So we'll see it. We'll see it when we don't have a relationship with our Creator. We will not presence our Creator. we'll not really worship our Creator. We'll do rituals, but we won't really worship our Creator. Now I really worship Allah. Meaning, I'm aware of Allah. I'm aware of His relating to me. He's responding to me. I am responding. I am relating. I'm aware of who I really am, what my true identity is. I'm a spiritual being. I'm not my human personality. I'm not my personality identity. You see, when you claim refuge with Allah, becoming aware of Allah, you become aware of who you are, what you are, who Allah is to you, and how you can relate to Allah. That you, when you're aware of Allah and you have the relationship with Allah, you experience assurance. Because you presence Allah and you experience Allah aware of you. Allah taking care of you. Allah taking care of everything for you. Allah handling everything for you. When you worship Allah, you are aware that you are His creation in His care. And He is taking care of you when you worship Allah, when you presence Allah. And when you praise Allah, you become aware that Allah is hearing you. You experience being heard by Allah. This is what happens when you live as a butterfly, spiritual butterfly, as a believer. As a believer, you know who you are, you know what you are, you know where you are, you know what's going on here. You know that the purpose here is to stop worshipping Satan, to claim refuge with Allah, to recognize the error of your ways, to get support, to get guidance, so that you can feel secure with Allah. When you're not feeling secure with Allah, that's when you do the drugs, that's when you do the violence, that's when you do violence against yourself, violence against others. That's when you are perverted. When you're not experiencing Allah consciousness, there's no peace in your heart, there's no patience in your heart, there's no love in your heart, there's no compassion in your heart, there's no giving, forgiving, there's no kindness, there's no generosity in your heart. You get what I mean? Because you're unaware of Allah. Because Allah is as-sabur, as-salam, the patient, the peaceful, ar-Rahman, the merciful, the compassionate. Allah is, the al-wadud, the loving. When you're aware of Allah and He's relating to you and you're feeling that, you're feeling His compassion, you're feeling His love, you're feeling His kindness, you're feeling His generosity. Now you actually have a connection, experiencing the connection that's always there. And now you can be like that too. You see, until you actually are aware of Allah and He's relating to you and how wonderful it is, that primary relationship, you're going to be thinking, I need money, I need a job, I need a man, I need a woman, I need a friend, I need a guru, I need somebody to brainwash me and tell me how to live. None of that is going to help you. You understand? Except submitting before Allah, to acknowledge the truth of Allah and you and where you are, what's going on, how this world works, and to relate and respond to Allah. To actually presence Allah, experience being presenced by Allah, that you are aware that Allah is aware of you, and Allah is taking care of you and taking care of everything. Allah is handling everything for us. This is what happens when you are a believer. You're aware that God is aware of you and is taking care of things for you, handling things for you. When you praise your Creator, you actually are aware that Allah is hearing you. You feel heard by this power. You're not like, please listen to me, please help me. No. You're not projecting power onto Allah. You are aware of Allah's power. Those of us who are actual believers, who are aware of Allah's power, we trust in Allah. And we experience Allah responding to us. It's not like, why aren't you listening to me? Don't you know I'm here? I'm begging you. People are suffering in all parts of the world. Why are you letting them suffer? How come this? No. If you forget Allah, yours will be a depressed life. You can't suffer if you're a true believer. You may be oppressed, but you can't suffer. And with Allah, you have His power, and He is enough to overcome the oppressors. We have Allah, the believers have Allah. You see? But those who think they are believers are not believers. In their hearts is a disease. They are astray. Allah does not guide the people who are astray. They don't want to see they have no iman. They don't want to see that their hearts are diseased. They don't want to see they're not addressing and purifying their hearts. This is the situation we're facing, but not me. Shukr to Allah. I'm here. I'm a winner because I know peace, patience, love, compassion. I'm feeling it. I never felt it before. There's no threat and vulnerability. I'm assured. I know that I can trust Allah. Allah has responded to me and is responding to me. Allah is enough for me. I'm feeling it. I'm actually Allah aware. And I'm thankful to Allah. I'm thankful to Allah. When you're grateful to Allah, Allah gives you more. You know what? I'm getting more and more in my life. You know why? Because I'm actually grateful. Those people who say, but Allah, you're not giving to us. Come on, give us. You're not giving us more. Some of them are stealing and cheating to get more. You know what I mean? Why? Because they are not grateful. If anybody is grateful, the Quran says Allah will give more. So that means the people are not grateful. If they're not getting more, it's either the Quran is a lie, which it's not. Allah has fooled us. Allah has never done that. Satan fools us. Or we fooling ourselves, being fooled by Satan. You get what I mean? So I know that I can submit every day and experience a peace. No matter what is going on in my world and in the world, Allah reigns supreme. He is the master. He is the judge. I'm just interested in the hereafter. You know what I mean? Did I live with Iman, Amal, a life tayyibun? Did I have a blissful return? Have I taken responsibility for the state of my heart? Am I cleansing it? Am I bringing to Allah? Am I purifying my soul? Am I darkening my soul? What am I doing? That's my only responsibility here, and to share with other people. By the end of the day, human beings are in a state of loss. Except those who have faith in their heart, have good conduct. Except those who teach other people truth and guide them to patient perseverance. This is what I'm doing. I got nothing to worry about. Following the Quran. I'm bringing to Allah a purified heart. I'm guiding people, calling people to Allah. I'm telling them these are the errors. I'm not saying they should stop them, because the Quran says let them believe if they want to believe. Let them disbelieve if they don't want to believe. Leave them. You know what I mean? So we just give them the invitation. Submit. Become Allah conscious. Praise Allah. Worship Allah, that you may experience His awareness of you and that He's taking care of you. Praise Allah. Become aware of Allah. Praise Allah, that Sami Allahu liman hamid. Allah, you hear those who praise you. Allah hears those who praise us. Allah responds to us who trust in Him. We experience Him hearing us. As a believer, you are aware. I'm aware that Allah is aware of me. I'm aware that Allah is hearing me. I'm aware that Allah has power over all things, and with Allah all things are possible. I'm aware, I trust in Allah. I trust. Allah is not fooling me. Allah is showing me the way out of the darkness into the light, showing me the error of my ways. Allah is bringing me back home to truth. Shukr to Allah. I trust in Allah more than I trust in me or anybody else. And I'm thankful to Allah for having given me life as a human being and given me guidance and created me in the highest form. You know, as a human being, the essences of Allah's nature I can experience and express. Those He allows us, like peace and patience and compassion and love. I'm grateful, and that I can have a life tayyibun. I can be a high functioning human being, being a light in the planet to other people, and to be with other people who want to learn, grow and develop and be a light. You know, I can live naturally and satisfied rather than living pervertedly. So I've been guided by Allah. The Quran is guidance, the Prophet is guidance. Allah guides the heart of those who believe in Him. And I experience it. I experience assurance now. No matter what is going on, I experience assurance now. And I know that even though I'm astray, Allah says, do not despair of the mercy of your Lord. Your Lord forgives all sins. The Quran says it is a disbelieving people that despair of the mercy of your Lord. I will never despair. I feel assured and reassured now that even though I'm in error, I'm not in kufr, I'm not in shirk, and I'm not in munafiq. I'm not in those unforgivable states. You know what I mean? I am a believer, and I am on a path, Siratul Mustaqim, the path that things get better and better for me every day. I'm letting go of superstition, ignorance and arrogance. I am called onto a universal path. This is not my path. All human beings are called onto this path of submission before a universal creator, of respect of God, of respect of ourselves and each other. I choose to live like that. I choose to live inspired by the highest version of me, the greatest vision of my life. I choose to live with Iman, Amal, a life tayyibun. I'm inspired. Allah purifies my heart. Allah cleanses me. Allah protects me from my negativity and the effects of my negativity in this world through my death and beyond. I'm so happy of Allah's nature. I'm so happy that even before He protects me now and going forward, He has protected me, and He is available to protect me. I experience in my heart the joy of Allah's compassion and mercy. You see, I repent. I have sorrow and regret for where I fail myself and where I fail myself. I really mean it. Allah transforms me and changes my life. As I practice patience no matter what is going on, Allah is with those who are patient. I withdraw power projections, attributions of significance. I withdraw exaggerations of importance. Nothing in this world is as important as I make it out to be. Everything's important, but not more important than it is. This world is temporary. I am temporary. Everything that's happening here is temporary. One day none of this will be, and we will be before our Creator. That is the home of the hereafter. I'm patient. I'm going to die. So are you. Don't overreact. Don't take things personally. Recognize you have Allah to find the way out from sources unknown, ways unexpected. You make things so important. You try and control and change people, things. You fail yourself. It's when you practice patience that you know Allah has power over all things. You know that Allah finds the way out. It's not for us to find the way. Allah finds the way out from sources unknown, ways unimaginable. It's for us to put our faith and trust in Him. You can practice patience if you're aware, and you can experience Allah handling things. You don't have to take things into your own hands and control it. You can be supportive of what you want. And Allah's good is upon us. He's given us potentials and possibilities that already exist for us, that we haven't claimed it. He hasn't withdrawn it from us. Even though we've withheld it from ourselves, Allah has not withheld. That it's there. Even now, today, we can let guidance come in and speak the truth about where we are and choose to connect with Him, receive His compassion and feel good. And say, guide me. And I'm prepared to do my part in learning, that I can go beyond the perversion of not feeling your connection and your taking care of me. And where I'm failing me, my body and my life, I'm poisoning my mind, I'm poisoning my body, I'm poisoning my life. Where I'm not receiving your good in this world and the world beyond, I'm not making dua, I think I'm making dua. But how can, the Quran says the prayers of those without faith is nothing but vain prayers. You're invoking without faith. It is Iman that is essential before dua can be used, the power of invocation. The Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said that dua is the weapon of the believer, of the mu'min. You get what I mean? So I've been guided. You can be guided too. But you must speak the truth about where you are. And you must say what is an error. You want to see what the error is. And you want to correct. And you must be willing to correct. But not everybody wants to follow truth. The Quran says most people, they remain ungrateful. And these hypocrites and the associators and the deniers of God will be the fuel in the fire of hell. What an analogy. That these who are arrogant, ignorant, those who worship Satan, those who are not receiving the championing of Allah, the encouraging of Allah, He's telling us, come on guys, I'm here. If you carry on like this, it's not going to end well. You know what I mean? And gals too. If you know this is here, you have an opportunity. Claim the refuge. People are not interested in the refuge. I have been, and I am an avid supporter of the refuge. I'm so grateful that there is another way for me to be beyond how I've been. I choose that way, the way of the refuge. I don't want to live exposed to Satan and controlled by Satan. I claim that refuge so that I can be a higher version of me, live a greater vision of my life. And this is guidance. That this is the work we got to do here. If you do anything else besides this, the main work is not done. You'll die as a loser. You'll be raised up as a loser. This is what the Quran tells us. Shukr to Allah for His guidance to humanity. Shukr to Allah that He is a refuge enough for us if we choose the straight path beyond being lost. I've chosen the straight path. Shukr to Allah. All praise, glory and thanks are due to God Almighty. His choicest blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.